Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardeners. So today I have another euphorbia that we are going to be talking about. This is called as Euphorbia Green Y. It is a narrow endemic growing wild euphorbia. Now what I have heard about this particular euphorbia, I was doing a little bit of research about its habitat. It is a little bit rarely found in its natural habitat because it is only limited to a certain location, a single location in Tanzania. I'll put up the exact place where it is found, and this place is around 1000 to 1250 meters above sea level. Now this euphorbia does not get any growth on the sides, but it tends to put out a lot of shoots and it tends to look like a bush. I'll put up the image on the screen of how it looks in wild. So there are going to be a lot of new growth coming up and it tends to grow into a bush. As I said, it is only limited to a certain part of Tanzania, but thankfully it tends to propagate very easily, and hence a lot of people who keep cacti do have this in their collection. Even though it gets propagated so easily, I'm not very sure why the article says that it's extremely rare in wild and has an area of occurrence only like around few square kilometers. I'm not very sure why though, but it is an extremely beautiful euphorbia. When I seen this, I wanted to get it. It has this beautiful green, light green color with these slightly red thorns that poke out. I don't know if it's going to be capturing in this video because those thorns are very fine. Again, they are not very sharp, they are more like bristles, very soft, just like a hard bristled brush. Talking about light requirements, they prefer full sun to partial shade. I have kept it an indirect bright light because it is a cutting. The roots are not very well developed, the roots are very small, so I've kept it an indirect bright light. The intensity is very good. And so far it's doing quite well. The soil mix remains the same which I use for my succulents, 80% of aquarium sand and 20% of filtered garden soil, the very basic one. Also there's a little bit of pumice as well. So it is a well draining soil mix. Watering, again the same thing. When the soil is completely dry, you can wait for a day or so, or probably for a couple of days depending upon your environment and climate and the type of season you have, and then according to that you can water it, because watering is a subject that completely depends upon environment to environment. The same thing that applies to succulents as well. Some people have very dry environment, some people have very humid environment. Apart from that, the type of soil mix, where the succulent is placed, how much of sunlight the plant gets, all of these factors play an important role in when to water your your plants. I can't tell you that, oh, you have to water it every 5 days or every 6 days, because everything depends upon your environment, your climate and the type of season. So this is something that you have to individually check and then go ahead and water it. Propagation is pretty simple. As I said, it tends to grow via cuttings. You can, once it starts to grow into a bush, you can just separate them and then put them into the soil and they will start to root. Again, I'm not very sure how long they take to root because I have just started off with them. As and when we go ahead with these collections, we will get to know about their propagation and how long it takes for them to root, etc. Talking about fertilizers, again these belong to a very arid conditions, very rocky kind of soil mix which does not have a lot of nutrients. So again we have to mimic the same kind of conditions. Do not flush it too much with fertilizers or excess nutrients, because that again will damage the plant, because these plants are not habituated with very organic rich soil. Rocky soil, something above 1250 above sea level, mountainous area, so you can kind of get a fair idea of what kind of conditions they live in. So very less water, very less nutrients, and it's going to do quite well. So that's about it. And another important thing that I forgot to mention in the last video about euphorbia is that they do contain toxic sap. They have this latex sap which can irritate the skin if you have sensitive skin. Whether you have sensitive skin or not, it's always better to use gloves when handling these euphorbias, because their sap is toxic and it does irritate the skin. So it's always better to be safe especially when you're doing a propagation or repotting, because a lot of times, even if the thorn tends to break, they tend to produce the sap, so you have to be extremely careful. Apart from that, as per the articles, it is a very easy, beginner friendly euphorbia. You can definitely add it in your collection. Trust me, it looks absolutely beautiful. I don't know how good it looks in the camera, but it definitely is a very pretty euphorbia. I really love that sky blue, bluish green color that it has, and of course we will wait and watch how it tends to grow further. And I'm going to keep you guys updated about it. So I'm quite excited with all the new additions that are coming in on this channel. I hope you guys also like it, and I am planning to get few more. We will see how they tend to work. As always, I tend to do a lot of research before getting any kind of plant. So before I get the other varieties, I'm still doing a little bit of research and trying to understand how they are going to react in my environment and climate. Most probably they are going to do quite well, because my succulents have been doing quite well. My environment is very dry, it's cool. As you all know, I live in a city which is quite elevated above the sea level, and that's why my succulents also tend to do quite well. My city has a very similar kind of environment that they prefer, which is dry during the day, humid during the night, cooler, not extreme temperature, whether it's summer or winters. So they do fairly well in my environment. So this is something that probably you can also research if you are planning to get any kind of plants. It's always give at least a week or maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Do a complete research before buying the plant, and then things are going to be very easy. Don't get a plant and then start doing research about that, because by then the plant might already start having issues. So it's always better you do the planning and research well in advance before getting the plant. So that's about it, guys. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.